Let me holler at you. It's your boy Maximus. So I was talking to a friend earlier, and the topic at hand was, are DJ producers extinct? Like, I'm talking about like my good man R.I.P. Avicii, Swedish House Mafia, like, Diplo. I mean, Diplo's still doing this thing a little bit, but I mean, there are no new people of that nature, you know, on the come up. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's no new Catronadas. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not seeing it, at least for me. You know what I'm saying? And I know, uniquely that I'm one of those, individuals that I do DJ and I produce. So for me, it's like, to really be in the gun of actually producing, actually making the music, not me outsourcing to different producers for tracks and then me getting these different tracks and then taking them and then putting them on wax and then put my name on them on a mix. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. That's more like DJ Khaled. Nothing against DJ Khaled. Ain't got nothing against DJ Khaled. But to me, that's not a true DJ producer. That's a DJ executive producer. You're a great executive producer if you're doing it that way. You're not an incredible, you know what I'm saying, creator, in my eyes, unless you really truly doing it to the point to where you doing it true to art. You producing it, i.e., you making the tracks, you getting the artists, you putting the artists on the tracks, you curating the whole song, you playing half executive producer. It might be executive producer in hand, at hand, but you playing your part in doing that executive production. You know what I'm saying? It's not this scenario of, how can I say it, like you are like not being involved in everything going on with a song, everything going on with the album. It's not like you just sitting back being like, okay, we got these tracks. Okay, well, these tracks need work. No, you making the whole tracks yourself. You actually bringing the artist in, like I say, you know what I'm saying? I can say this 1,000 times. You actually doing everything. And so there's a lot of, people out there that, for me, they, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that they don't do these things, but there's no new faces coming out that do all of these things, all of these acts. Not that I know of. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm just wondering, are these types of acts and are these types of scenarios of people out there that's just doing different things, is it just not, relevant anymore? You know what I'm saying? You tell me, because I searched for it on YouTube, like somebody who truly has proprietarily all of their music and they can spin all of their music in a mix. Like that type of scenario to where they can spend all of their music pretty much for a whole, hour and a half, however long. There's probably 20 people on the planet, 20 acts on the planet, some groups, whatever, that probably can do that. But like the majority of like producers that were DJs, or they somewhat like, are DJs, but they want to somewhat be into production, i.e. they have their own mixes, they have their own mixtapes or whatever, and they get producers and they do this, and then they kind of put everybody together, which is pretty much executive producer. You know what I'm saying? Which is great. You know what I'm saying? You still need an executive producer. Like even a great producer that want to be their own executive producer still need a bigger executive producer to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you might want to think about this. You know what I'm saying? You might want to think about this. It's that safeguard. You know what I'm saying? It's that really, truly $1 million safeguard. You wouldn't think you would be like, not, doing, it wouldn't be worth it by giving that person the opportunity to be a part of the album, but it truly is to have another, you know, say so into safeguarding the quality of a work of art, an album. Like even for me, like, Unique on my album, she pretty much was somewhat of a executive producer. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it was just like a safeguard to be like, okay, let me get like the true heart, like truth of like what it's gonna be. Like if she say, oh yeah, man, that shit ain't rocking, then yeah, I'm gonna have to like be like, yeah, unless I really am in love with this move, I wouldn't even be asking. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm asking for a reason to be like, am I really, is what I'm doing really, you know what I'm saying, what needs to be done? And if it's a yes, it's a no, you need that from the executive producer. So she was able to do that for me. Like, hey, I'm making this change. What you think? Yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. Hey, we'll roll with it. If it don't work, you know what? Let's stick with what's good at hand. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with, Clarence on my team, Taboo. Like it was certain times where it's like, yeah, we need to do this way, or yeah, we need to do this way, and it made sense. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you always need that second hand, but at the same time, like, I go back to it, like, the person at hand being the producer, being like, i.e., a DJ, and like, I'm talking about like somebody that's a DJ and a producer. Somebody that's like, yeah, I DJ and I produce, like, pretty much. Like, I make the tracks and I curate all the, songs. I make sure the songs that we make, I make sure they, what I'm saying, all right. You know what I'm saying? So I play both hands. I don't just be like, oh, I'm over here just making beats, and then somebody else curate the songs and be like, oh yeah, we putting this artist on here, and then we doing these vocals or whatever. No, yeah, I'm doing all that too. So I'm playing, both roles, and then I'm making a series of music where I can be able to DJ them and spin them, together in the same, likeness, because that's the key to it, of being that type of, like, being. But it's only a couple of people like them. Those people are like the LeBrons and the Kobe Bryants of the music industry that can do, both of those things. And so that's why I asked the question, are these people extinct, or is it just me, like really just being like, well, because I do that shit, I'm expecting other people to, like, nah, like, I think it should be, for me, I think it should be, like I say, whatever you doing, like music or whatever, and you, like, you doing and you combining two kind of likeness and two type of forces. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you should be asking anybody's, opinion about it. That's the takeaway from this, whole, ordeal, this whole conversation is, you shouldn't be really asking permission to, like, if you combining two sides of what you do, whatever you combining two sides to, because it might be beyond just DJing and producing. It might be this, it might be that, combined to blah blah blah, whatever. It's 1,000 things that you can combine together. But at the same time, I don't think you should be asking that question. I think you should be asking how to combine those two and be great at those two. Like, you know what I'm saying? And being great at two things, trust me, it ain't a lot of people in this world that's just like really truly like great at like both, like, oh, they great at like both these things. It ain't that many. So it's a blessing to even have two talents or two skills. So if you do, you need to be like giving your thanks at night. So I say all that to say, just stay true into, what you do. And if you do two things, if you DJ and produce, just keep doing it. All right, peace.